Hey everybody, this is Jackie from Jack Gets Lost Down a Book Hole. And the next ship I would like to talk about that I have fallen in love with is a more modern one that was made back in the was born in the 90s. And that is Ron and Hermione from Harry Potter. I recently put away my other books in the series away in a box because I am hoping that when my nephew is old enough, which will be quite a while, since he's only 2, to give him these books to read. So I'm setting aside, putting away somewhere else. Plus the fact that if I want to, my mom has told me, and I think I've mentioned this in videos several times, she's not going to buy me any more shelves. So I'm trying to make room steadily on my shelves, although at the moment it's kind of hard. I was recently talking to a friend how I'm having trouble getting rid of books, and I was only able to find one book to have a reason to get rid of it. And I kept questioning myself about it. Because it's, it has a lot of good things about it, but I've heard a lot of negative things about it too that I'm not sure if that I'm okay with it. And like I said, I just have to make room for more books if I want to buy more books. And I only have it's a series actually. I only have the first one in the book, and I still haven't got around to reading it. I mean, I attempted to read it once, and I just couldn't get into it at the time. I had other books that I was more interested in. So I'm choosing to get rid of it. I'm not going to say why because, well, I'm worried that people are going to give me a hard time about that. But just like all the other couples, I just fell in love with Ron and Hermione as a couple, and I know that J.K. Rowling said that she should have put Harry and Hermione together, but from what is in the books and what I've seen in the movies, despite a few moments like the dancing scene in the I don't know if it was the 7th or 8th movie, because they split, because they of course split this one into 2 movies. I don't remember. But despite that dancing scene between Harry and Hermione, I will not ship Harry and Hermione in that way. They, to me, I never got the impression that they were attracted to each other. I mean, to me, they're more like brother and sister. Their affection for each other is more brotherly and sisterly. Despite what J.K. Rowling said. And I think that is unfair, and that's a bit of a slap in the face to those of us who do ship Ron and Hermione, because it's like, oh, so you didn't mean it when you put Ron and Hermione together. It bothers me, but, what I love about Ron and Hermione is their opposite personalities really are a good balance for each other. She keeps keeps Ron grounded. She's a very serious person, very focused, very ambitious in a good way. And she will keep Ron from, from being too lazy, and, she helps, and I think she helps him with his insecurities, because, Ron has a lot of issues. He's not perfect. He's very insecure when it comes to, his brothers he has several brothers that are overachievers, including the twins, who are overachievers not in an academic sense, but in other ways, as you know. And he's not the baby or the girl in the family. Ginny's the baby, and she's the girl, so she's treated like, more precious. More precious, basically Ron's the middle brother. And then he has a best friend he's always in his best friend's shadow, because, Harry was already famous. He survived a curse, the killing curse, which is not that great to be famous for, because, but still, everybody knows who Harry is. And then here's Ron, his dorky best friend. When, in book 6, when, Professor Slughorn comes along, he can't even remember Harry's friend Ron's name. He constantly gets it wrong. And it especially came to fruition in the fruition. I don't know if that's the right word. Forgive me if it's not. in the fourth book, The Goblet of Fire, because, you know, Ron was talking about Harry about, you know, what will we do if we put our names in the goblet, despite the fact they were underage, and that was the rule. And then he finds out that Harry, you know, somehow gets his name put in that goblet. So those old issues come up. But I think Hermione really helps him. I mean, the fact that she loves him despite his issues, despite how he can sometimes be he can be really annoying at times, and he can be kind of lazy and a bit of an idiot at times. She still loves him, you know. And unfortunately, he was really mean to her when they were kids. But I mean, he was also just a kid, you know, and he learned from his mistake. Because ever since then, you know, ever since what happened in the first book with the whole troll incident, he has tried, maybe not hard enough, to be a better friend to Hermione and to actually, despite the fact that she kind of makes him, you know, she gives him a hard time a lot, which is probably a good thing. It keep him on his toes. And, you know, when he was after the whole, he almost got, like, poisoned when Slughorn gave him that drink after getting after taking some love potion on accident. You know, when he was in the hospital wing, it's made more obvious in the movie, but in the book, you know, it's not as obvious that he says her name while he's unconscious. He says Hermione's name in front of Lavender Brown, you know, which, like I said, it's done a little differently. Like, you can actually tell he's saying Hermione's name in the movie than in the book. In the book, he just kind of starts saying her name, but you can't understand him. Which I prefer. I prefer the movie version over the book version. As I've said before, there are things in the movies that I like better than the book. I mean, I love J.K. Rowling and everything, but I mean, let's face it, there are certain things that a writer can't do in a book. Like, it's hard to write comedy, for instance. But, and what Ron does for Hermione is she's so focused on her work and doing the moral thing and the right thing, and she's upset. Like, in the first book, she was obsessed with not losing points and stuff and not failing, and like, Ron brings out a lighter side to her, you know, brings out a more fun side, a more laid back side to her. You know, I like to think he was kind of inspiration for her deciding to having the confidence to, you know, start the DA. I mean, granted, yes, like, the Umbridge is existence in her being hard on her best friend and everything, one of her best friends, and her being their teacher and how she treated the students, how condescending she was, and how wicked and evil she was. You know, yes, I think that was the big thing but I think Ron's influence over those past 4 years is what gave her the courage to stand up and say, no, this is not right, this is wrong, we need to do something about this. Yes, it's risky and we could get in big trouble, but you know what, this needs to get done. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think that his influence is what, you know, is how she was able to get to that point in book 5. I love how their first impression of each other, their meet cute, which is, you know, when two people meet in a story, whether they are destined to become friends or lovers. I think it's so cute because, like, the first thing she says when she meets him and everything, and is looking for the toad, Neville's toad, she points out, before she leaves, she's like, you have dirt on your nose. And that is basically the epitome of their relationship. Her bossing him around and telling him, you know, telling him, like, he's got dirt on his nose. And just, I mean, and I'm showing you the 7th book, and the other reason why I'm showing you the 7th book and not getting the other books, not just out of laziness, but the fact that I think their relationship really shines in this book. Like, you really see it I think it shines in the 6th book, too, that how much they love each other. Like, first of all, like I said, in the 6th book is when he says her name and he's lying in the hospital. We see how heartbroken she is when he's going out with Lavender Brown, and the fact that they're constantly fighting has finally, like, because they're always fighting throughout the series. Especially, in the 5th book, they're sniping at each other constantly, and Harry finally is fed up with it and finally snaps at them and takes out his anger on them, as Hermione puts it. But in this book, like, they're on this journey, and she's so worried and trying to, like, support him and support Harry. So she's kind of put in the middle, just like she was put in the middle in Goblet of Fire. Between the two of them, having to keep them both from killing each other because, this whole situation is affecting both of them in a negative way. And then she's, like I said, she's so heartbroken when he's going out with Lavender, and she's trying really hard not to let it get to her, and she even went out with Cormac McLaggen just to annoy Ron to that, the Slughorn's Christmas party. And and then Ron leaves the group because he's so angry and so frustrated because he's worrying about his family all the time, and he doesn't realize how dangerous this mission is, that they're going on to find these Horcruxes, and it won't be easy, and they're lost in the woods, and the only way he can know how things are going is by listening to the radio. And he's angry because he feels like Harry doesn't understand, because Harry, sadly, doesn't have his own family. His parents are gone. They're in heaven, and his parents are still alive. So it's hard for me to decide, okay, what's worse? You're knowing your parents are alive and knowing that they could get killed. Well, I guess that's worse than, not having any parents to worry about. Although Harry does have kind of parental figures, like Lupin and Hagrid. He still has, like, family members to worry about, parental figures to worry about, and he cares about the Weasley family, Ron's family, as much as Ron does, but they are actually Ron's biological family, so he's going to care about it just a little bit more. And plus, I think the whole Horcrux was influencing them, as Hermione could see. She was the one who realized it. And she's so heartbroken and so angry when he leaves. And when he comes back, she's, like, mad at him. Is like, how dare you just leave us like that, and you come back thinking everything's going to be okay again, that you can just rejoin our group? I mean, in fact, Harry is the only one that's not actually bothered. He's just relieved that Ron is back and that they're on good terms again. She's the one I think she's more upset than Harry is about Ron just waltzing back into the group. And then in the movie, I don't remember if this is in the book. I'll be reading the 7th book soon. But, I remember she suggests going to Luna's father. I can't say his name. Going to Luna's father, and he's all like, I think Hermione's right, if those who, agree with going to see Lovegood, raise your hands. And they're both looking at him like, dude, I think we all kind of agree, we all have decided to go there, so there's no, we don't need to vote. Like, he's trying really hard to win her favor back, to get her not mad at him anymore, to get her to forgive him. And I also, like, in the 6th, I was going to say something else about the 6th book, about their relationship. But they are, again, another, as you notice, all the couples I love, they tend to, like, when they first meet and as they get to know each other, they fight a lot. Like, I mean, not a lot, but not like to the point of abusive or anything, or like people thinking why they should be together. I mean, I see there might be people that might be thinking like, at least with Ron and Hermione, why these two should be together. But I think there's some truth to that whole expression of you fight like an old married couple. I think that is true because I think once you're married, I mean, when you get married, as you get older, you eventually annoy each other with little things, and then I think you do tend to fight. I mean, my parents don't always agree. My parents tend to snipe at each other. They don't fight to the point of why are they still together, and they fight just little things annoy each other. Like my dad can be very I don't want to say self-centered or self-absorbed, but he can be very focused on himself. And he's also the type who's a very social butterfly, and that drives my mom crazy because she's more like me, where she's content with staying home. But I think the fact that they are both like that is a good balance, as long as you can compromise and learn to like give each other what the other one wants without feeling like it's a sacrifice or without showing that it bothers you. And I think Ron and Hermione could do that. I think when they're married, because we know, I mean, I don't think this is a spoiler anymore. I mean, there's a chance that people have not read this series. I know one of my best friends has not read the series, but she's seen the movie, so she's very familiar with how things turn out and the basic plot. But actually, all three of my best friends, I don't think have read the books, which I would like to change that someday. You know what I should do? I should seriously make them do a read along with me this summer of all 7 books. I really should. The thing is, one of them I don't know. 2 of them I'm pretty sure I can get to do that, but one of them I don't know if I'll be able to get to do that, because she doesn't read YA or middle grade, because it's like she can't relate to those characters because she's not a teenager anymore. And you know, I read YA all the time, and I personally don't get that. But anyway, so but I would really like to. That way, I could talk to them about that as well, not just you guys. But it's great. I love having you guys to talk to about this, even if I can't talk directly to you unless you comment on my videos. But yeah, I mean, I think these two, Ron and Hermione, could do that. I think they could find a way to work together and compromise because they balance each other out perfectly with their opposite personalities. And they keep each other, you know, they are good for each other. And I think just because you have a lot in common and you seem to have a connection does not mean you're romantically. And I'm talking about Harry and Hermione. Just because, yes, they have a good connection, a good relationship, does not mean they need to be together in that way. I mean, it goes back to the whole idea of how some people on here are like, why can't guys and girls be friends? Which is kind of funny because I am a fan of the trope of best friends falling in love. But I just don't see it with Harry and Hermione. But I see it, but I'm very loyal to this ship, to Ron and Hermione. And when she was, like, was getting tortured, you know, it really affected Ron and everything, and she makes him brave, I feel like. Because he's always so scared and everything. He's kind of a bit of a scaredy cat at times, which is understandable. I mean, there's some of the crazy situations that they have to do, and she makes him brave. Like, even though she was unconscious and petrified, he went with Harry to talk to the spiders for her sake. He did it for her. And, let's see, what else? And I think, he also, in the first book, with the chess game and everything, I think he did all that stuff, well, for both Harry and Hermione, in knowing that the world was in danger. Which, by the way, that's why I like Ron. Certain people that don't like Ron think he's just the comic relief and the dorky best friend. But he has done so many brave things. He sacrificed himself in the human chess game so Harry could get to the Sorcerer's Stone. He went up and confronted the spiders with Harry in Chamber of Secrets to find out about anything about the Chamber of Secrets and what possibly could be the monster and who opened the chamber. he was constantly doing all these scary heroic things for Harry and Hermione all the time and to save the world. Yes, he has issues. Yes, he can be annoying. Yes, he's kind of mean to Hermione at times, like calling her a know-it-all. In the first book, he was all like, she's a nightmare, she's so annoying, when she was trying to help him get the spell right. And he was all like mad at her. And here's another thing that really was kind of interesting, was when when Victor takes notice of Hermione and asks Hermione to the Yule Ball, that drives Ron crazy because he is a huge fan of Victor Crumb as a Quidditch player. So he's caught between being jealous because Victor Crumb has asked the girl he has feelings for to the Yule Ball, and he realized that Hermione made a point, and he shouldn't have waited until the last minute to ask her, because of course, so she's a beautiful girl. I mean, yeah, and she's described as having a little bit of a buck teeth in the first couple books and bushy hair, and she's a Muggle born, so she's not considered the most beautiful girl. Although the one who they cast to play her, Emma Watson, I think is very pretty. And she was very cute as a little girl when she was younger, when they first started the movies. So he's caught between, and then also I'm kind of with Ron about the age difference, because I think she's either 14 or 15, and Victor Crumb is 17, because we know that you can't be under 17 to enter the Triwizard Tournament. So he's obviously 17. So it is a little weird because Hermione is like 15, 14 or 15 years old. It's kind of weird to me. So I can kind of understand where that would bother Ron, the whole age difference. But I think he only said that because he was jealous that, this famous Quidditch player is showing interest in her and offers to take her to the Yule Ball. And then they continue to be friends and exchange letters. So he's totally jealous of that, but yet at the same time, he's a fan of Victor Crumb. And I remember at the end of the book, when they're saying goodbye to everybody, he finally blurts out, "Can I have your autograph?" Asking Victor is like, that has got to be the most awkward moment ever, because like, I don't remember if he ever actually got the autograph or not. I want to say he did, but I'm not sure. But it's such a funny scene. I mean, it's funny to think about, not the scene because we don't actually see the scene, but it's just really funny to think about that. Imagine, like, on the one hand, he's a huge fan of this guy, but on the other hand, the guy went out with the girl he likes. So it's like having, must be really awkward, getting the guy's autograph, getting the guy to sign a piece of paper for you while at the same time being like, yeah, you're into my girl, But, let's see, what else? I love these, this is actually this is like the first hardbacks I ever got, I think. Because mostly I get paperbacks. So I've never, but anyway, what else can I say about Hermione and Ron? What else can I say about them? Why I love them so much? I guess really that's all I can say, is that there's so much, they're so great together. They balance each other out so well. And I'm happy that, like, J.K. Rowling put them together, despite the fact that she says after the fact that she should have put Harry and Hermione together. And it just bugs me that she's all, like, basically saying that she caved into peer pressure, and that's the only reason Ron and Hermione together. And, like I said, I feel like that is a slap in the face. It's saying to people who fell in love with this couple. I mean, because this is a beautiful couple, and there are a lot of other people that love this couple and are totally ship them together. Like me, I know I am not the only one. Sorry, I keep getting sidetracked. I probably should start reading this book soon because the books I'm reading right now might take a little while, and I might only get to a few books this month. Which I should, I need to be okay with because it's not a competition, and I have said before that I'm not into the competition kind of thing. But it's not just about the competition. It's about me feeling accomplished and wanting to get all. And I like the Goodreads goal because then it shows that what you've accomplished. And I'm trying to get more into what I read. Okay, so I gotta stop doing that. I always get off on tangents that have nothing to do with the subject matter. I mean, I hope people still enjoy watching my videos despite the fact that I do that. I mean, I guess since I have a good, I think 20 subscribers currently, unless I got new subscribers. So I guess you guys don't mind. I guess you guys still like my videos despite the fact that I ramble and well, anyway, I'm gonna shut up now because I don't know what else to say about Ron and Hermione. I adore this couple and I totally ship it. And I will continue to ship it until my dying day. And well, if you like my video and like what I have to say about Ron and Hermione as a couple, then give my video a thumbs up and please subscribe if you haven't already. Alright, bye!